So while planning the wedding, we also saw how bridesmaids can struggle, buying their dress. It can be a big expense. And so we liked the idea, we got married, and we actually started working on it. We're both software developers, and so we developed the website ourselves. It started as an online boutique. And the idea was that we had a catalog in there, and then women could browse, and they could rent online, and then we would ship them the dress, they would receive it, and then they would ship it back to us. That's how it worked. We got contacted by KTSM, they liked the idea, we got an interview on TV, and after that, word spread out. And word spread out, and we started getting calls and emails from women asking if there was any way that they could try the dress before renting it, because they wanted to see how it looked on and all that. So we had an extra room at our house. We conditioned it for Runway Glow. We had a rack with dresses, and we started having appointments until it got too crazy because it was prom season last year, and we had a lot of girls wanting to try on dresses, and that's when we decided to open up an actual place. Before I continue, these were my bridesmaids. They are my best friends, and they're the ones that help at the store. They're the ones that help you pick up a dress. They take pictures, they take videos, they model when I ask them to. And these pictures were actually taken by Daniel, right there, Daniel Frederick, he's a photographer. We took these pictures on Sunday, and we love them. So this is a picture of how the store looked like when we got it. We didn't have that big of a budget because we had just gotten married, we had just gone on our honeymoon, and so we got together with our family and friends, and we basically conditioned it ourselves. We painted the walls, I even installed the laminated wood floor, we decorated it and everything. So I'm going to show you a video of how the store looks like now, and you're going to hear a little bit about how Runway Glow works.
Welcome to Runway Glow Dress Room. From wedding, prom, sweet 16, quinceañera, military ball, pageants, photo shoot, or even virtual friends, we got you covered. You pay up to 80% less than the retail price. That's the same as wearing 5 different dresses for the price of one. Here's how it works. Choose from over 350 unique styles. Check our monthly newer rentals. Try as many as you want. Rentals start at $20, but we also carry designer brands for those extremely special occasions. No need to rush back to return. Keep your dress for 5 days, including the return date and the day you take it. Plus, get a free accessory with every dress rental. Loved your dress? Just pay the difference and it's yours. Ask for our group rentals for bridesmaids or coordinates. We open 7 days a week, Monday to Saturday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m., and Sundays, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Visit Runway Glow at Peppertree Square, located on 5411 North Mesa Street, Suite 3, or call us at 915-253-7048. También hablamos español. See you soon!
All right, so we actually have close to 400 different styles now at the store. They're all unique styles. We do not have repeated styles at the store unless they are for bridesmaids or quinceañeras. We do rentals for those occasions. We also have wedding dresses and quinceañera dresses, but they're not our main thing yet. Throughout this whole time, it's going to be a year now, and we have been able to collaborate with local photographers like Daniel, local models. We've actually sponsored women to participate in pageants locally and nationally. For example, Miss Erica Graham, she is Miss Texas Belleza Latina, and she participated in Miss Belleza Latina last year in Florida. She competed, and we sponsored her with dresses. I'm going to show you another video that we took outside our store. This video was taken by one of my friends who works with me and a local model. Preparatory Square, they're our neighbors, so we are there. This is our contact info. If you want to visit us, if you want to call us, if you want to email us for any ideas that you might have or any collaborations. So if you have any questions, I'll take them. Yes.
Are you still doing your internet sales?
We do. They're available still. They're not our main drive. We actually started locally only, so they were for only El Paso. The option is there, but most people would just rather go into the store and try on the dress. But the option is there. Some people actually go into the store, they try on the dress, and then if they need it later, they just order it online rather than going to the store because they already know what they want. So.
Can they reserve online?
Yes.
Go ahead and try
Yes.
it beforehand, or?
We have a calendar in there when they order. They basically pick the dresses that they want to dress for. So yeah, they can. Yes.
Would we be able to donate our dresses, or do you guys get them from a specific location?
You can donate them. We don't buy them. We get this question a lot. We do not buy dresses from people, and the reason is because all the dresses start as new, but mostly because there's some women that pay a lot of money for the dress, right? Like up to $700-800, and they want to come and sell us the dress, and they're expecting to get that kind of amount, and we're not going to pay that, especially because we have a license for us to get it directly from the manufacturer, so we just donate it to them.
Oh, yeah.
How often do you refresh your inventory?
So right now, because of prom season, we're getting new arrivals every week, but mostly it's once a month we get new arrivals.
And what is your average rental price?
So the rental, the average is $50, so they range from $20 up to $80, but average is like $50.
And is it mainly special occasion?
We also have cocktail dresses. They're not as many as the long evening dresses because it was not our main focus in the beginning. But we saw a need for it, people were asking for it, so little by little we're adding it.
The alterations, if any of it had, or?
We do not do alterations. We have sizes from extra small to extra large, and we have different lengths on dresses. Since we get a new from the manufacturer, most of them come very long. But we have cut some of them to an average height so that people, can fit into it.
First thing you said is I actually been to your location with my friends and we really loved it.
Oh, nice.
It's really cool. And what are the ways you hope to grow, like coming up, and what have you learned from this past year that will take forward?
What have I learned from this past year? Every girl, especially for moms, this is something that we see. It's their senior year, they're graduating, and it's very important for them to find a perfect dress. We want to feel beautiful and everything. So we try to hear people out, what they're looking for, what colors are in for, the spring is coming, what they're looking for. So we basically try to hear them out. So just like the cocktail dresses, it was something that people needed. So basically we like to hear from the client. We have also learned that social media is very important. We do get a lot of people from Facebook and from Instagram, which is our main ideally, we would like to grow, maybe at a location. We're located in the west side. Ideally, we could grow and maybe put one on the east side because we have had people ask us if we have other locations on the city. So, yes.
So you and your husband are programmers?
Yes.
So you feel that you have a real strong base of knowing how to deal with social media?
Yes.
So what can you share from us? What have you learned? Do you follow all the analytics? Do you follow Google Analytics?
Yes.
Do you follow Facebook Analytics? Give us a little background on what you've learned, and has it increased the speed of your success?
Okay. So, this is something that we do because we are programmers, like I said. We manage our ads on Facebook. We have ads on Facebook, we have ads on Google. We have found that Google is very powerful as well. A lot of people Google dress rental, we're the ones that pop up. They both have, Facebook and Google, they both have a very nice way of showing you how many times the ad has been shown to people, what are they looking for, what are the keywords. We get information as to how many people are actually asking for directions when Googling us, how many people are calling us through Google. So it's been great. I mean, Ivan is the one that manages the Google campaigns. I do the Facebook ones.
Okay, I can make a couple of side comments on that. So mostly for social media and for tracking the campaigns, it's really important to make them short. It's really important to have the action buttons. It's really important to keep track of the keywords. It's really important to put negative keywords. We don't want people that are looking to, for example, if our main season right now is prom, then we maybe don't want to attract all the people getting married at this moment because we're already overcrowded. It's really important to have different campaigns. It's really important to have different styles of the same ad so that they show correctly in the phones, on the sidebars, and pages. So there's a lot of things about this, yeah, I can talk.
But when you buy the ad, just sort of quick follow-up, when you buy the ad, do you feel that it was worth them? Are you buying like $30 lot, for 10 days, or explain to us a little bit on how you purchase your ads with Facebook?
In that sense, what we check mostly, it depends, right? When you create an ad, you can either target it for engagement, for page likes, for comments. There's a couple of techniques on doing that, but what we look at the most is cost per action, right? So usually the average for our industry, it's about 3%. So out of 100 displays, you get like 3 interactions. We try to keep it between 6 and 8, which is, the double, because we have a very limited budget, but at the same time, because we have a very defined audience, we can target it really well, right? And we don't want to be obtrusive or obnoxious. So for example, when we do video ads on Facebook, we don't do the type of video ads that will pop up in the middle of your video because we don't want people hating us for, interrupting their, you can.
Outside of your traditional business, do you do any consulting for social media marketing? Because you sound very
No, we don't.
No, we had, this was our 4th or 5th online business.
Okay.
So we tried a couple of different things in the past. We had an online jewelry, we had a drop shipping boutique, we had some other crafts. So we've been doing this for many years and we've seen the evolution. That's why. We'd be happy to help though. We've helped some of
How do you differ from Rent the Runway?
Okay, Rent the Runway is only online, and the idea actually was based on them, but only locally, so that's what we wanted to do locally. Rent the Runway, basically you rent online, they ship it to you, you get it back. It's the same idea as how we started. Now we do have the store, the physical store.
Rent the Runway has some exorbitant shipping fees, which we understand because when we order from manufacturers, shipping fees can often exceed like $50, $60, and those are passed to the customer, right? And then because you cannot try it on Rent the Runway, you get 2 dresses from them with some extra fees, so that if one doesn't fit, you get the other one, right? And if neither of them fit, you're just basically.
I'm sorry, I missed the beginning of your presentation. I was back there with coffee. How did you get started with this business?
It was because we overheard women talking about how they wish they could rent their dress, just like men rent their tuxedo. And we were planning our wedding, so we actually saw how also for bridesmaids it can be a big expense for them to buy their dress.
Okay, so that's what kind of made you want to get into it. How long have you been doing it?
So the online started October 2016, and the store we opened April 2016, so it's going to be a year now. 17. Yes, no, a year.
So since you've done a lot of your marketing like via social media, what is your opinion of traditional marketing? Like I'm sure now, because you got a television deal on the news, I'm sure that some salesperson followed up and said, do you believe in the traditional TV radio model, or do you believe that's obsolete and you're on the right track?
We actually got contacted by somebody at K-Funds, and they wanted to offer us the whole package, the social media, TV campaign, and a little bit of everything. The social media we already had, we've done it ourselves. Honestly, I was not a believer of the TV commercial because I don't watch TV. and I don't have time for it, and I myself don't watch TV, and so I just thought maybe a lot of people watch TV. But I talked to other people, and I was led to believe that, yeah, I mean, a lot of people watch the news, a lot of people watch TV shows in the afternoon, so we decided to give it a try. And actually, this past Monday, we had an ad starting that is going to continue for April. So I feel like it's still too soon to tell if it's working or not, but we are doing it.
But you don't watch TV?
I don't watch TV.
Do you watch TV?
No, I don't either.
See, there you go.
We couldn't watch our own ad because we couldn't set up the TV.
Yes.
But the thing we do though is every time somebody walks in, we ask them how they heard about us, right? So we have logs, and every single person we know if they came in by a Facebook ad, by the ad outside, if they saw a flyer, if they saw a TV ad, if they saw a Google ad, or just word of mouth. So we keep logs of that, and so we can track the effectiveness, right? So our goal is to translate the cost of the TV ads and then compare it as a, per action, yeah, and see if it works. But we experiment.
That's going to be some valuable information, by the way, when you figure it out. I'm serious.
Yeah.
What are some of the challenges when you return the dress? Like, let's say that you want to rent it to someone else, and the person that you rent it to hasn't returned the dress. So what do you do when you have a conflict?
All right, so when you rent a dress, there's a deposit. They pay $25 deposit, and that covers if something were to happen to the dress, it covers it. We know that sometimes the dress is worth more than that, more than the rental and the deposit, but it's a risk that we take because otherwise people are not going to rent. They don't want to spend that much upfront. We have had cases where dresses are completely destroyed, and there's nothing that we can do about it. We have had occasions where people don't return the dress, and we actually had to go and file a report with the police because of it. So we added clauses. We have a contract that they fill out when they're renting, and we added clauses to prevent these things in the future. We now ask for an ID, their driver's license, we take a picture of it with the contract, and that way we protect ourselves a little bit more.
If you need some help with collections consulting, I could probably do that. I do some amateur work, but anyway, that's it. But seriously, you said you were overwhelmed during prom season. That's a great problem to have. Yeah. Folks in here that would love that. So what kinds of steps are you looking at? Because that shouldn't be a problem for long. When you have too much business, that's a good problem. So how are you addressing that?
Right. Well, I guess it was a problem that we had last year, right? And that's when we opened up the store. Right now, I guess a problem that we're having now is a lot of the dresses are being rented out. So when a girl rents their dress, it goes to the back. It's reserved, nobody else can rent it. Because then what if somebody else rents it and destroys it, and then now she's without a dress, right? So when somebody reserves a dress, it goes to the back, it's not rented anymore. So I guess the problem that we're having now is stock. We need more dresses. That is a problem. So, I mean, that's why we're having new arrivals every week. We're trying to get new dresses. We're seeing, okay, what sizes are getting rented the most, what do we need? And so that's how we're handling it. Yes.
Yeah, I've had those problems, and it's sad because sometimes you don't have the personnel to do it. When the liability insurance mandated, I had so many people waiting outside, and you can't service everybody. That makes it bad. And then the second time is I do a lot of roofers insurance, and the roofers start coming in, and you start going, oh my God, and I see what you mean when you have your prom. It's like, oh my God, I don't have enough inventory, I don't have enough people to sell. So that is a problem.
And we have 2 fitting rooms, and this past few weeks, we've actually had line of girls who are doing line to try on the dresses.
Seasons.
Yes, and then 3 girls came in this one time, and all of them were looking for red small dresses, and so one of them was trying them on, and then I was like, I'm sorry, you have to wait because she's trying them on, and then, okay, now you try them on, and now you try them on. So they're looking for sort of the same thing, and they came in at the same time, and so I was like, yeah.
So, I rent the dress, I bring it back. Do I dry clean it first? Are you guys gonna take care of that?
We take care of the dry clean.
It's expensive.
Do you rent only like dresses like that? You don't rent for like Halloween or something?
No, we don't.
You can use it for Halloween.
Well, you
Real short
can.
dresses and-
We actually want to do for Halloween, we want to do a photo shoot with like girls having like dressed up as princesses. You know, we have like yellow dresses for Belle, we have blue dresses for Cinderella, so that's something that we want to do. But they're still formal eating because they're not costumes.
Okay, we have time for one more question. Anybody? Tom.
I came in late, I might have missed it, but I know you probably focus a lot on the prom, but what about the rest of the year? I'm sure it's probably maybe slower, or is it?
So prom is definitely the busiest season, which is from February to May. There's also a lot of weddings. It's wedding season. I mean, we don't only rent for girls. It's also for weddings. Our slowest season would be winter. There's not as many events as the rest of the year. Summer last year, surprisingly, was not as busy. We thought it was going to be as busy as prom season. It's not as busy, but it's still. Yeah, for homecoming, there's homecoming in September, October, which is for high school also.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot the final question. Sorry. What can we as a community do to help you?
Oh, we had a slide. Yeah, okay, so what you can do is visit us, get to know us. If you need a dress, come visit us and consider us for your event. Recommend us to your friends, girlfriends who need a dress. If you have had the opportunity to experience our service, we would appreciate your rates on Google, Yelp, or Facebook. You know, comments and recommendations mean a lot to us. Help us reach high schools, especially for prom. That's something that we've been wanting to do but haven't had the chance because we do have full-time jobs. So to get to high schools and talk to the students or talk to counselors, see how we can advertise.
You know there's 13 districts, right, in the county?
No, I didn't.
13 districts.
That's a lot. Introduce us to people who might be interested in our service or people that might want to collaborate with us in some way. And
okay. We got hold of the mic. Okay. By the way, we are open to taking volunteer MCs there. So. Okay, so now we have time for community announcements. Anybody in the audience have a community announcement that they would like to share? There's nobody? Tom?
Yeah. Morning, everybody. I do weekly meetings on cryptocurrency, how to get started with it. Also have discussions about it as well. I'll have one tomorrow at Foreman Pizza, next Monday over at Famous Dave's on Airway. Both times are 11:30.
Any other community announcements?
Hello everyone. April is going to be the financial literacy month, and I'm volunteering with the Federal Reserve, and they're short with speakers. They need financial professionals that they want to go and approach and give education to the community. There's a curriculum that they have, so if someone is interested, please contact me because I'm looking. There are going to be around 150 sessions that they're going to go to different places in the El Paso area. So we need people. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Anyway, yes, sir.
Also, every Friday in April from 11 to 11:30, I'll be hosting on KSC TV channel 38, I believe it is here locally. They can also go online and watch it on live stream. It's called United with Christ. It's a religious channel, and so this will be kind of also a tester to see how it's going to go for a potential full-time show. So could just watch, maybe give me a little blurb. It's going to be from 11 to 11:30.
Great.
Every Friday.
There's a couple of networking events. I don't know if you're going to
You do it.
Okay, today at 11:30 at Andales, Business to Business. That's Ceci Pacheco and Andrew Pacheco put that together. It's pretty good, about 40 people. It's free networking, just buy lunch. Today at 5:30, the Chamber's got the after hours at the State Line. Tomorrow morning at 8:30, we have Breakfast with Friends, which has been around about 6 years. I was one of the originators of it. And we have 50 to 60 people. So that's free networking.
Who's the speaker for Breakfast with Friends?
I just show up and it's different speakers. And tell you what, and they're very good speakers. Lorena Pagalo has been moderating this thing for the 5 years, and she's done a great job. And we get good speakers from different ends. So if you have a product that you want to pass and it's free, and it's one thing about networking is you've got to build a relationship. You can't just go and say, I didn't get anything out of it. And people used to say that about the Hispanic Chamber. So I said, you need to show up. You need to pass out your cards. You need to talk. So anyway.
I think, I may be mistaken, but I think, because I met with him yesterday afternoon, Jim Centers may be your speaker tomorrow.
For what? What's he?
The new athletic director at UTEP.
Okay.
That'd be great.
And there is a Facebook page, right? For
Yeah, there's a
So you
Facebook.
can check that out to see. Okay. Any other community announcements for the audience?
You're close.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Nice and loud.
Hello, my name is Monica. I'm from Lagunitas, El Paso. We focus on empowering young girls through media and technology. So if you have any young women in your life between 11 and 17 years old, this next month, April 21st, we are having our Startup Chica conference. So it's going to focus on our participants will work in teams to develop their own business idea or their own product model. They will have help with the Hub of Human Innovation as well for instructors and have the option of potentially developing their product further or getting further sessions in the Hub. So if you have any girls in your life who are interested in business and you think this is an event that they would be interested in as well, you can find more information on our Facebook page, Lagunitas El Paso, or contact us at elpaso@lagunitasmagazine.org. Thank you.
Okay, any others? Going once, going twice? Okay, we have several here. The El Paso SBDC is hosting an I-9 immigration compliance training. ICE audits in El Paso are up to 100 per week in El Paso County. That training is today, Wednesday, March 28th, from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. There is a cost that you can register at elpasosbdc.net. Next, the Commission for Environmental Cooperation is having a Youth Innovation Challenge, and the deadline to submit an idea for that is on the 3rd of April, so it's coming up soon. So if you'd like to participate in that, please see us. Next, the Hispanic Chambers continuing their Hablemos del Dinero series. The one for the next upcoming one is April 12th, develop a financial projection. And then in May, it's develop your credit, and it goes on like that until with different topics until September. Next, the Hub, we're announcing our 2018 El Paso Innovation Awards Breakfast. That'll be Thursday, April 19th, 7:30 a.m. breakfast at the El Paso Club. Please talk to us if you have interest in that. The Hub Legal Office Hours. This is a great program where you get 25 minutes free legal consultation right here at the Hub with some attorneys. The next one is, we do that once a month. The next one is April 19th. Please do register at least by a minimum of a week before, but usually those slots fill up pretty quick. So if you have any interest, you can send an email to officehours@hubep.org or come talk to one of us Hub folks. Next, the Texas Workforce Commission is having their Texas Business Conference. These are all around the state. The one for El Paso is May 4th, 2018 at the El Paso Marriott. Next, the Governor's Economic Development and Tourism Office is continuing their Export Assistance Program. The next event is in Hanover, Germany, April 23rd, and then the next one after that is April 30th to May 3rd in Houston, Texas, and it just continues on that. Some of them are here, some of them are overseas, but it's a great, great program. If you're exporting or have any interest in exporting, you need to check that out. We already talked Breakfast with Friends. Please sign up for Downtown El Paso Insider. We're part of the Downtown El Paso community here, so please sign up to follow all the things that are happening. And lastly, all of these events, or most of them, can be found on startupdigest.com. So please go to startupdigest.com, find the El Paso community. You can sign up to get a newsletter of an announcement of all these events, and more importantly, you can submit your event to get it out there even more on that calendar. So with that, let me give away a mug. Hopefully you all put in your business cards. Sometimes we kind of lean on business cards and have to figure out a different way to do it. These are sticky. Abel Rodriguez, Radio Network. Have you won before?
No.
No?
No. This is only the second time I come.
I thought I told you before. All right. Okay. And with that, I'll bring up our second presenter, My Family Genetics.
All right, I'm Scott. Hi. Let's see here. Okay. I graduated UTEP in '97. Been in software for about 20 years, different types of network engineering. I do full stack development. That's the whole thing. I've worked for Dell, worked for Northrop Grumman out in Silicon Valley for 10 years for the Department of Defense. I developed biometric asynchronous security. I did, what else did I do? The hospital. There's a hospital out in California I've been working for about 10 years, helping them out, doing biometric, medical stuff. I've started 2 companies here in El Paso. One's called My Family Genetics. Actually, it's base made. I'll tell you about that. And then I'm also running a Bitcoin mine called Sun City Mining. So if you want to get rich, you let me know after this. Often, my job description is called full stack software developer or a system integration engineer. Really, I'm just kind of a professional hacker. Okay, let's see. My Family Genetics is the product of. My Family Genetics is the. Yeah, it's a marketing product for the actual thing I've kind of created, which is a software product, which analyzes genetic data and compares it against published medical articles. And so we've packaged that together into a product we're trying to sell called My Family Genetics. I came to that name after doing some research and going around asking people, if we could get you genetically tested, and I could tell you everything you ever want to know about yourself or somebody else genetically. Would you want that? And people broke up in about 3 groups. About 1/3 said, yeah, I want to know. Absolutely, that's great. About 1/3 people said, I don't want to know anything. And about 1/3 said, yeah, I'm interested, but only if there's something I can do about it, right? Don't tell me I'm going to die from a brain tumor in 3 years. I don't want to know that. I said, well, what about your kids? You got kids? Would you want to know about your kids? Across the board, everybody said, yeah, I want to know about kids. Okay, so we're marketing this to parents. There's a place called the Medical Centers of America that the MCA found. It's out there off of the Spaghetti Bowl. They gave us a little grant. I brought these 3 people. I'm the not doctor. She's a geneticist, he's a pathologist, and she's an MD. And they helped me make this whole thing work. They run a CLIA lab. CLIA is a certification that you get. It means that you're like, a good American laboratory. You don't have chickens running around in the sequencing room. So they run a CLIA lab, and so we can do CLIA testing. We can also ship it overseas and do it really cheap, but it's not CLIA, it becomes unofficial. What are genetics? Genetics are the instruction side of your body. This is actually just kind of a little bit of trivia for you about genes. Because people, like when I got into this 2 years ago, I didn't know anything about genetics. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a medical person, I don't know anything about that, I'm a computer guy. And so this stuff that I picked up that I thought was fascinating, when I tend to tell people this, they think it's interesting. Also, your genetics are made up of 4 compounds, and they're basically just strung together in a big chain. You've got about 3 billion of these things, these base pairs, the sequences in your body. Everybody's got about 45,000 mutations. Most of the genome has not been sequenced. We don't know what it does. We do know about 98% of your genome is just garbage. It's noise, it doesn't do anything. And that's how you get like 23andMe and Ancestry.com tracing mutations back, because some guy in Spain 1,000 years ago had some mutation in some part of his garbage genome that doesn't do anything. And then we can test you and we can say, oh, you've got that same mutation, so you're probably related to that too. And that's how we're able to figure out where you're related from. We do medical grade testing. If you get a mutation that we test for, you usually wind up dead. And so it's not good for testing who you're related to. So it's a different world. How does it work? We do sample collection, then we send it to lab prep, where they do lab stuff. They run it through a sequencer. It's this machine that basically is a giant laboratory shrunk down to a box, takes about a day to run, and out the other end comes a big chunk of genes, looks like this, and I run it through my database, and we give you a report. Where are we in life cycle? Right, so BaseMate is my software that does, I had another slide, but I screwed up and I didn't give it to them. My software, what it does is, so you're a doctor, and you write a journal article, or you write something in a book, that basically gets indexed. If you're old enough to remember card catalogs, remember the card catalogs? Okay, so there's a thing that the government sponsors called PubMed or ClinVar, and you go look it up online. And what they do is they're basically a card catalog of all the medical journals that have ever been made. And so if you've got a friend that's a doctor or a pathologist, you can type his name into the search and you can find the article that guy wrote. So I basically reverse engineered their database, pulled it apart, and turned it into something useful. And with that, then we compare it against your output of your sequence data, and that gives you your report. So we're selling that as the My Family Genetics product. On the 1st, we're going to roll out a 6-month advertising campaign. I've hired a local multimedia marketing team, the husband and wife crew, and called Fancy Fox. So if you need multimedia marketing like Facebook, Twitter, that type of stuff, go look at Fancy Fox. They're pretty good guys. And we're going to use that, we're going to market it, we're going to collect metrics on how the marketing worked, did we actually manage to sell anything, what type of engagement did we get, we'll go back, we'll refactor the product, and go from there. We are also, here's our webpage, you go to myfamilygenetics.com, we got a really cool little commercial put up on there, people seem to love it. And so in addition to the My Family Genetics, we're looking for other markets, because My Family Genetics is just basically aimed at mom who's worried about her kid. I'm also going to go talk with a military contractor I know, because, you know, you're a colonel, you got a bunch of people you spent a lot of money on, training them up. You want to know if this chemical is going to kill them. You want to know if this medicine is going to be good for them, that type of stuff. We can test them and let get a better bang out of your buck, your guys. Yeah, so there's all sorts of different genetic things that you can do. It's amazing the type of technology. Every day I'm blown away by what somebody else has learned and is integrated into the system. That's pretty much my product.
Okay, any questions? Questions?
Let me start back real quick.
So, who's your competition?
So we don't really have any competition. Right now, when I tell people I do genetic testing, they'll say, oh, you mean like 23andMe? Oh, you mean like Ancestry.com? I say, well, no, not really, because 23andMe, Ancestry.com, they do specific base pair testing. So they'll test maybe 50 specific base pairs looking for specific mutations that can then tie you back to, you know, somebody who had a mutation 1,000 years ago. What we do is we do 9,000 mutations. We're doing about a couple million base pairs, and we're doing it from medical grade. So it's a deeper sequence in addition to a greater breadth. Because when you do testing for Ancestry, there's a depth, kind of like how high you turn up the microscope to look at the genes, and that depth used for Ancestry testing is a factor of 2. For medical grade testing, it has to be at least 50. And so we're doing basically higher grade testing. And so nobody else is really doing this direct-to-consumer medical grade testing.
If I want to get a test done, how much is it going to cost me?
So we got 2 versions. We got the proper CLIA version. I said a minute ago about how we have the proper medical grade, you know, like it's sanctioned by the FDA. That's $2,000. We got to talk to your doctor also. Now we have we call it research or entertainment purpose only test. It's what 23andMe does. That way we can go around doing your doctors when you dodge the FDA. For that, we send it off to China. It comes back. It's not medical grade. It can't be used in court or for prescriptions or anything else like that. And that only costs you $900, about half off. And if you go through the proper medical grade stuff, where we keep it in house. One other thing I left out of my thing is that we don't sell your data to anybody. Everybody else does. You go to 23andMe, you go to Ancestry, thank you. You go to anybody else in the world, and they will sell your data. And if you go through us and we ship it off to China to the cheap way, they will keep your data. But if you keep it in house with us, nobody gets it at all, ever. Yes.
Well, how does the new science of epigenetics affect what you do?
Okay, now I'm not a geneticist. Can you define epigenetics for me?
Epigenetics is a science that is disclosing how the gene pools are actually expressed through a period of times with your experiences, your relationships, your environments, and really selects which genes are going to be expressed or not.
Okay, right, I think I understand. So I learned about this. There's a thing called, oh gosh, I'm going to screw up the word, and my geneticist is going to give me a hard time for it. Methylate. So just because you have the genes, just because it's GATC or whatever, doesn't mean it's going to manifest. Even if it's homozygotic, meaning that it should manifest, doesn't mean it will. And that's because the code then has to methylate, has to basically become manifest. And through your environment, the things you do, those can change. And so it will activate G, like, if you work in a place that's full of, I don't know, something that's a mutagen, like a lot of mercury fumes. You work in a vat of mercury fumes all day long. You're going to start to get these genes are going to start to manifest, or they could get suppressed.
Yeah, one of the things that you were thinking about going to the military, I read several research articles on post-traumatic stress disorders and how they could be able to tell which soldiers are going to get it and which ones may not.
Absolutely, yeah. It's called pharmacogenetics, and it's huge. It's amazing what you can do with pharmacogenetics. For example, chemotherapy. I'm new to all this too. I just learned this a couple months ago. Chemotherapy is actually basically a poison they put into you, and because your cancer cells consume energy faster than your normal cells do. And so what we do is we put a little bit of poison with some sugar into you. Your cancer cells will eat it faster than your regular cells, killing them, hopefully before the other ones do. Well, your genes can determine how effective that is by logarithmic scales. And that's why I give a chemo pill to this person, it works great. That person did nothing. This person had horrible side effects. That's all based on their genes. And so we can do your genes, and we can then go to your doctor and say, like, okay, you need to give them a double dose or 1/10 of a dose or whatever. That type of stuff. Pretty slow.
I was intrigued by your by the China part of your story.
Right.
Can you talk about the comparison? Why do you do it there versus in the U.S. or somewhere else? Where is the cost differential, the speed, the quality?
Right. So the quality for China is 100 times worse, but it's still 99.49 after the decimal place. So it's pretty negligible, really. And why is China cheaper? I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure what they did is they bought a bunch of these sequencing machines. These guys right here. There's a company here called Illumina that makes these things. And they've got a monopoly on it. And so if you want to buy one, this is a MySeq, this is what we use. It's the cheapest one you can find. They're only $500,000. Yeah. So what I think happened is I think some guys in China bought a couple of them, reverse engineered them, and then started building their own without paying the money for it. And so they're able to do it cheaper.
So what is the cost differential? Do you have a sense of how many?
It costs half as much to send it to China as it does half. That's why it's $1,000 for us to send your data to China, $2,000 for us to do it in-house.
Besides, obviously, the price and not taking your data, what's the benefit of paying more to do it here? Is it more testing? Is it more in-depth testing?
Right, absolutely. So if you do it here, we have these guys. So we got our own pathologist and our own MD. And what they'll do is we will give you a proper report. Well, actually, if you do it in-house, we'll go with your doctor. And so we'll give your doctor a proper report, compiling all the information, explaining, here's the genes, here's the mutations, here's what it means, here's how to treat it, here's some data going forward. And so that's the reason that you would probably want to go that way. Whereas if you go with the China method, we just give you basically an Excel spreadsheet, which is the output of my product, saying, here's all your mutations, here's where you can look up, go to ClinVar, click on this link, it'll take you to ClinVar, you can read up on it, here's all the alleles, here's all the information you need to do it yourself.
So what's the scalability of this? Because you have 4 people and you're saying like they take care of it, and you have one $500,000 machine. Right. So if we all go tomorrow,
right? That's a great. Oh God, I want that problem so much. So that's the problem that I would love to have. So our throughput right now, our one machine can do 6 people every 24 hours. And so if we want to be 7 people every 24 hours, it's awesome. And we'll just go get another machine. And we can go, and so the machine we're using, this MySeq, like I said, this is the cheapest one they make. And that one does 6 every 24 hours. They scale up, they've got like a $50 million machine that can do like 500 people at a time. It's ridiculous. And so, we can buy more than one. And so we just bring in more lab techs. This is TK, she's one of our lab techs. We can scale this all the way, no problem. Because, you know, I wrote the program, I did the infrastructure, we're ready to go. The worst thing that could happen is we bring this online and get like one customer every other week. I mean, we're bringing just enough people that we got to keep everything running, but we're not making any cash. I'd rather have nobody than one every other week, because I can just unplug it.
How'd you get involved with this? You have an extensive computer background.
Right.
This is completely different.
I bumped into this guy, this is Brad. I bumped into him at a kid's birthday party. And he's like, yeah, I'm a doctor. I'm like, oh, that's great. So he started, there's a company called Minerva Genetics. I think they may have presented here a couple years ago. And so, yeah, him and his wife, these two are just so smart. Anyways, they started Minerva Genetics, which is a genetic company here, and they were having trouble because they didn't realize when I started the company that it turns out you also need an IT guy in order to like sort the data. Because when the data comes out looking like this, they realize, oh, we don't know what to do with that. And so I said, yeah, I'll help you out for free from the break. And so they said, oh, that's great, thanks much. And after talking to them, I realized nobody does this medical testing for the average consumer. You got to go to a hospital, you got to get diagnosed with cancer that the doctor doesn't know, like, you know, some sort of, I don't want to call it atopic, basically an undiagnosable cancer. They know there's something wrong with you, but they don't know what, so they go call up Ambry, and they'll go spend $8,000 in your sequence. And I said, you know, we can do this for like $2. We can do it for like 1/4 the cost, and we can just let anybody do it. And so here we are. We're going to hopefully pull out.
How old do you need to be tested?
We can, how old physically? So there's a thing's becoming really popular right now is you and your boyfriend go and they will take 10 eggs and fertilize 10 of them. And so we have 10 different petri dishes with 10 zygotes. They take one cell out of each, sequence it, and then they have an output of your 10 potential children. And they can say, oh, child number 1 is going to have this disease, that's probably not a good thing. Child number 5 is going to be a genius, that is a good thing. And so then you get to pick which one you want to keep. And so there is no minimum age. If you've seen the movie Gattaca, that is your future.
Can you do it for another state? Like if somebody from another state is requesting that service, can you do it?
Absolutely. So each state has its own rules, and they change month by month. When we put this company together last summer, the rules in Texas were different, and we've had to change our business plan because the rule changes. It used to be that if you were a Texan, you just call us up and we'll take care of it. Now you got to go through your doctor. And so different states have different rules, and it keeps changing. And so if you got a friend in New Jersey, give us a call. We will absolutely figure out, we'll handle it for you. But we can do anybody from anywhere.
So it's all done just by a blood test?
This one, we do a swab test. Here you go, this right here. We give you, it's basically a giant Q-tip. And you run the Q-tip on the inside of your cheek. And from that material, that's enough for us. They have a way of cloning your DNA. And they actually, I didn't realize you could do this. If you have oil on your skin, right? And so if you leave a fingerprint, they put like powder on it and dust that the cops do to see. They can actually take the oil, like with a, I don't know, a really tiny little eyedropper, I guess, and extract just the oil from your fingerprint and sequence that. And so we can tell not just your fingerprint's been there, but we can tell your genes have been there.
So Minerva was in here and made a presentation maybe 6 months ago. Is this a merged organization, or are they still doing something separate and apart from you?
So Minerva's doing their own thing. I'm actually right next door to them at the MCA. Their lab's up here in the MCA. I'm just down the hallway from them. And so if Brad and Diane get hit by a truck this afternoon, I can use a different company. I don't have to use a Minerva. They are doing their own thing. They're still they're trying to get regular doctors and regular medical staff. They're trying to hook up with that. This is a different product.
Any other questions? Okay, as always, what can we as a community do to help you?
So my issue with BaseMate right now is it's basically like I've discovered fire. And I'm looking for applications for fire. And my first product is the torch. And so if you have another idea for how I can use this BaseMate, this genetic software, like we're talking about military, anything like that, you let me know.
Call me, you get it? Not yet.
Okay, awesome, thank you. Very interesting.
Thank you.
Okay.
Let's see.
Two great presentations this morning. Thank you guys. A couple last things before you get out of here. If you did not sign in on your way in, please sign in on your way out. We need to report back to our supporters and our funders that we're making an impact in the community. Please sign up to present. I see some of you out there who need to present. Please sign up to present. Tell your friends and family that have businesses to present. Come back and see us next week. And also, let me know of any success stories connected to 1 Million Cubs. We'll see you next week. Thank you.